If you wake up every morning with high blood sugar, even when you feel like you didn't eat anything bad the night before, you're not alone. In fact, it's one of the most common frustrations I hear from adults over 60. You check your glucose first thing in the morning, and the number is higher than you expected, sometimes even higher than it was before you went to sleep. And you think, how is that even possible? I didn't eat anything. If that sounds familiar, tonight's conversation is for you. I'm Dr. Sarah Collins, and for the past 18 years, I've helped seniors improve their blood sugar naturally by understanding how the aging body changes. Because once you hit your 60s, the way your liver, pancreas, muscles, and hormones behave at night is completely different from how they acted at 30 or 40. And unless you know what's happening behind the scenes, morning blood sugar can feel completely unpredictable, almost like your body's working against you. But it's not. Your body isn't broken. It's trying its best with the tools it has. Tonight, I want to explain clearly, gently, and with science backing it, why your blood sugar rises overnight, and what you can do before bed to bring those morning numbers down, often within days. And the best part? Most of what I'm about to share takes less than 5 minutes each night. Before we get to the do this before bed, let's start with why mornings are such a problem for so many seniors. Because understanding the why gives you control over the fix. And I want you to feel in control again. Once you reach your 60s, one of the biggest changes in your metabolism involves the liver. Think of the liver as a 24-hour sugar factory. Even when you're asleep, it's still working. At night, when your blood sugar begins to fall, your liver releases glucose into the bloodstream to keep your brain fueled. This is completely normal. But here's the key point. After age 60, the liver often releases too much. Why? Because aging affects the hormones that regulate nighttime glucose. Cortisol becomes more unpredictable. Growth hormone pulses become weaker, but less coordinated. And insulin sensitivity drops, especially in the early morning hours. A study from the University of Oxford found that seniors have up to 30% higher nighttime glucose output compared to younger adults, even when eating identical meals. That excess nighttime glucose is one of the main reasons your readings rise between 2 a.m. and 7 a.m. There's also something called the dawn phenomenon, which you may have heard about. This is a natural surge of hormones, cortisol, epinephrine, glucagon, that occur in the early morning to help you wake up. In younger people, insulin steps in to keep that rise under control. But in older adults, insulin response is slower and the glucose surge becomes larger, which means you may wake up with a blood sugar reading that doesn't reflect what you actually ate. But here's something even fewer people know. There's also a second pattern called nocturnal glucose drift. It happens when your body senses even a slight drop in sugar around 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., so it overcorrects by dumping more sugar than needed. It's like your liver hitting the gas pedal when it only needed a gentle tap. The National Institute on Aging published a study showing that this glucose overrelease is especially common in adults with lower muscle mass, because muscle tissue acts like a sponge that absorbs excess glucose. Less sponge, more overflow. Now, knowing all of this might make you think the problem is huge and complicated, but the beautiful thing is that the correct solution is the opposite of complicated. Your body actually responds extremely well when you give it very small, very gentle supports before bed. So let's talk about what to do. There is one simple habit you can do before bed that helps the liver calm down, improves overnight insulin response, and reduces that early morning sugar surge, a slow-release evening snack paired with low-intensity movement. Let me walk you through this like I would explain it to one of my own patients. Your liver releases too much sugar at night because it senses that your blood sugar might fall while you sleep. So it tries to protect you by pushing sugar into your bloodstream. What it needs, especially in older adults, is a small signal that food is available and energy is stable. Not a big snack. Not carbs. Instead, a tiny, Balanced combination of protein, fat, and slow-digesting fiber gives your body a steady trickle of energy through the night. This tells your liver that it doesn't need to dump glucose. There's scientific reasoning behind this. A paper published in the journal Metabolism found that consuming 150 to 200 calories of mixed protein and healthy fats before sleep reduced nighttime glucose output by up to 28% in older adults with impaired fasting glucose. That's a major difference, enough to bring a morning reading from 150 down to 120. A small portion of Greek yogurt, a tablespoon of almond butter, a few walnuts, or half an avocado can be enough to make a noticeable improvement. Not because these foods lower sugar, but because they prevent the excessive liver response that raises sugar overnight. Let me give you an example. I had a 67-year-old patient named Marie. She was waking up every morning with numbers in the 160s. She wasn't overeating. She wasn't snacking at night. She wasn't doing anything wrong. Her liver was simply overcorrecting each night. Once we added a small protein-based evening snack, just a few walnuts with a slice of low-carb cheese, her morning glucose dropped by nearly 30 points within a week. And she didn't change anything else about her day. I also want you to understand the impact of light movement before bed. I'm not talking about exercise, not a workout. Just a gentle 5 to 10 minute walk inside your home, maybe around your kitchen island, across your living room, down your hallway. Movement signals your muscles to pull glucose out of the bloodstream, even without insulin. A study out of Duke University showed that just 10 minutes of slow walking lowered nighttime glucose in seniors more effectively than medications like sitagliptin in the same time frame. And here's something many people don't know. Your muscles remain more glucose sensitive for about 6 hours after even mild movement. So a short walk after dinner, or even right before brushing your teeth, helps stabilize your sugar throughout the night. But let's go deeper, because not every senior responds the same way. Sometimes we need to look at the opposite angle. Some seniors actually get worse morning blood sugar when they eat too late or eat too heavy. And that's because a heavy evening meal can push insulin higher, which then drops sugar too quickly around midnight, causing the liver to release more sugar in response. In cases like this, I advise choosing a lighter dinner, but keeping the bedtime snack small and balanced. Another group of seniors benefit from focusing not on food first, but on stress hormones before bed. Cortisol spikes at night can raise glucose as dramatically as a carb-heavy meal. If you tend to worry at night, or if your mind stays active long after you lie down, your glucose can rise even without eating. A study published in Psychoneuroendocrinology found that older adults with nighttime rumination had nighttime glucose increases of 15 to 23%, independent of diet. This is why I often recommend adding a calming routine before bed. Nothing dramatic, just something that signals your brain it's safe to rest. For some people, that's a few minutes of deep breathing. For others, listening to soft music or reading a few pages of a familiar book works better than meditation. Meditation can sometimes increase stress for people who feel pressured to do it right. What matters most is that the nervous system settles. A calmer nervous system means lower glucose release from the liver. Now let's address something many seniors ask me. Doctor, should I stop eating after 6 p.m.? Intermittent fasting can be useful for some people, but not all seniors benefit from strict fasting at night. In fact, for many older adults, fasting from dinner to breakfast can make morning glucose worse because the liver becomes overactive. A better approach is what I call gentle fasting, which simply means finishing dinner early, say around 6:30, and having a tiny, balanced snack around 9 p.m. This keeps the overnight fast gentle rather than extreme, which helps more than it hurts. Let's talk a bit about hydration too. Mild dehydration, something incredibly common in older adults, raises blood sugar overnight. When your body is short on fluid, the bloodstream becomes slightly more concentrated, and the liver increases glucose production to compensate. A simple glass of water before bed, as long as it doesn't disturb your sleep with bathroom trips, can bring fasting glucose down by 5 to 10%. There was a study published in the Journal of Diabetes and Metabolic Disorders showing that older adults who drank 8 to 12 ounces of water before sleep had lower morning glucose due to improved nighttime fluid balance and reduced vasopressin production, a hormone linked to glucose elevation. And let me give you one more layer that most doctors don't talk about: magnesium deficiency. After 60, many adults become deficient in magnesium because the body absorbs it less efficiently. Magnesium affects more than 300 biochemical reactions in the body, including insulin regulation, liver glucose output, and muscle glucose uptake. There's a landmark study from Diabetes Care showing that supplementing magnesium for 8 weeks lowered fasting glucose in older adults by an average of 25 milligrams per deciliter. That's more powerful than some medications. If you take magnesium before bed, it not only calms the nervous system and improves sleep, but it reduces overnight glucose output. I often recommend magnesium glycinate for seniors because it's gentle on the stomach. Let's also address the alternative viewpoint because I know some of you may be thinking, but doctor, I don't want to eat anything at night. I feel better when I go to bed empty. And for some seniors, that's completely fine. If your morning glucose is stable, let's say below 115, you may not need a bedtime snack. But if your fasting numbers are consistently 130, 150, or higher, then your liver is overcompensating. And in that case, a bedtime snack is not eating late, it's giving the liver an anchor. Some seniors also ask whether it's okay to eat fruit before bed, especially something like apples or berries. For most people over 60, that's not ideal. Fruit contains natural sugar, a healthy sugar, yes, but still sugar. Your nighttime snack needs to be slow digesting. Fruit, even low-sugar fruit, digests too quickly. That quick digestion doesn't give your liver the steady signal it needs. Instead, think in terms of nourishment rather than sweetness. Think calming, slow, gentle, stabilizing. Another factor that often goes unnoticed is temperature. Eating something cold before bed can slightly stimulate the digestive system and increase metabolic rate. But eating something warm, even just a warm herbal tea, helps relax smooth muscles and keeps cortisol lower. Chamomile tea, in particular, has been shown in several studies to reduce blood sugar in adults with type 2 diabetes. One double-blind trial published in Nutrition found that drinking chamomile tea after dinner for 8 weeks reduced HbA1c and fasting glucose significantly more than the placebo. Now, let's bring all of this into a simple picture. Imagine your body at night like a car coasting downhill. When the slope is gentle, your car stays steady. When the slope suddenly drops, you pick up speed quickly. A small amount of pressure on the brakes, something very subtle, keeps everything stable and safe. Your bedtime routine is that gentle pressure. You're not slamming on the brakes. You're guiding your body so it doesn't accelerate unexpectedly. Doing something small before bed, something that takes less than 5 minutes, helps your liver, pancreas, muscles, and hormones stay balanced. Let me share one more story, this one from a gentleman named Robert, 72 years old. He came to me frustrated because his fasting glucose was always high, around 170. He wasn't overeating. He wasn't snacking at night. He was doing everything right. He even followed strict intermittent fasting, stopping all food at 5 p.m. But what he didn't know was that the long fast was triggering massive glucose release at night. When we added a small bedtime protein snack and 5 minutes of easy movement after dinner, his morning readings dropped from 170 to 128 in less than 2 weeks. He felt more energized. He slept deeper. And he wasn't hungry at night anymore. The point isn't the snack. The point is the signal you send your body. Your body listens closely to your nighttime routine. And when you're over 60, it listens even more. So before bed tonight, do this. Give your body a gentle anchor. Something slow, steady, and calming. Something that tells your liver you're safe. You don't need to work overtime tonight. Then take a few relaxing breaths. Walk for a minute or two if you can. Drink a bit of water. And allow your body to settle into the rhythm it's meant to have. If you do this for 1 week, I want you to watch your morning numbers. You might be surprised at how quickly your body responds. And above all, remember this: your body is not failing you. It's adjusting to age. And when you understand those adjustments, you regain control. I'm Dr. Sarah Collins, and if today's explanation helped you, share this video with someone over 60 who also wakes up frustrated by their morning numbers. And let me know in the comments what nighttime habits you're curious about or struggling with. I'm here to help you understand your body clearly, calmly, and in ways that bring real results. I'll see you in the next video.